Hey guys, welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. My name is Shan, mama of the girls, aka Mommy Rocky. Welcome to the show. Cozy Womb is a podcast about parenting with parenting tips and real honest feedback on what is it like to be a parent. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. Don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook, Twitter, and IG. Let's get into today's show. A parent's disappointments. Ugh. You may not want this to happen, but it will happen. That's the joy of learning. Lessons must be taught and practiced. And sometimes your kids are going to fail at it, okay? Your kids are not going to show up above and beyond, and you're going to be looking like, ugh, whose child is this? I think my baby been switched at the hospital because I never was like this when I was little. Or the dad's going to be like, I was never like that when I was little. I don't know why they're like this or why they don't do it like this. Or I did everything. I gave you a tutor. I told you not to do this, but you went ahead and did it anyway. Why don't you listen? Like, all of that is going to happen, okay? There's going to be disappointments and your child will grow through them. You will grow through them. And what's most important is how you work through your disappointment. How you work through your disappointment is completely up to you as a parent. How your child works through their disappointment is going to be up to both of you, because you have to guide them into what is a good way to express, like, oh, I feel bad, and what is a bad way to express, oh, I feel bad. Because sometimes when kids disappoint their parents and their kids say, oh, I'm so disappointed in what you did, they go to the extreme and they say, okay, well, since you're already disappointed, I might as well do this, do that, and get in trouble because I'm already in trouble. Like, don't speak the mindset of disappointment in your kids, okay? I'm going to go over what you should do when you're disappointed in your child and how you can show up for them and how you can make it better and how your son or your daughter can be better with you and how you can be better as a father or a mother to your child, okay? Because these kids, unfortunately, especially in 2020, they just out here doing their own thing, thinking their own way, and thinking like we were never kids ever. And we were. So why do you feel like you're smarter than me when you're not? Yeah, I'm going to talk about all of that stuff after these messages. I have Cozy Womb merch on Teespring. Hashtag Cozy Womb Shop. You'll find it. I have it posted on my Instagram, Cozy Womb Pod. I also have it posted on my Twitter, Cozy Womb Pod. Go ahead and add me and follow. I also have Mama's Cozy Closet, where I created merch just for mamas because we do so much, so we deserve. But don't be sad, dads. On Cozy Womb Shop, I have t-shirts on there, something very like seldom daddy, because I know y'all don't like to blast, oh, I'm a dad on my stuff. So I have something for everybody. I have kids hoodies, I have coffee mugs, I have mama's little zip pouch bags that keep our discreet items in there. So check it out, and thank you for supporting the Cozy Womb podcast. Back to the show. We going back to the show. First things first, you raise a whole human in a smart way. Congratulations, okay? It doesn't matter if they're smart, if they're a nerd, if they're not smart, if they're funny, if they're not funny, if they have a sense of humor, if they don't, if they can dress well, if they can't. It does not matter, okay? You raised a whole human out here, okay? And they got to the point to where they can possibly disappoint you. Congratulations, all right? You showed up consistently, and that's more than most, okay? Trust me. Don't beat yourselves up when your child disappoints you. Stop blaming yourself when your kid or your teens are mostly and usually defiant, disappointing creatures. Why? Because they just think that they're smarter than us because their technology is better than ours, or their circumstances today are not that much of a struggle, and they just think they know more, they can do more, and I don't know, they're just smarter, and they're not, okay? Do not rely on others for support who do not have kids when you're disappointed in your child. Because people who don't have kids think every little thing that your child does that's not good as like the biggest thing in the world. And then when your child does disappoint you as a parent, you have to be able to talk to a parent about that to get some understanding. You cannot talk to someone who does not have a child about that, because they're going to try to diagnose your child. They're going to try to tell you, what you're not doing as a parent. They're going to try to tell you that this is what works, do this, because I read about it. Some things regarding parenting cannot be in a book. Some of that stuff is just innate. It's within you, okay? And if it's not, you better figure out a way for it to get within you. I think when you're disappointed in your child, you should ask yourself this. Are your expectations too high for your kid? Are you comparing your child to their older brother or older sister? Are you comparing your child to their younger sibling? Are you comparing your child to your brother's kids or your sister's kids, or the kids that go to their school, or textbook verbiage of what kids should be doing at a certain age? Are you comparing your child to what you did at their age, where you were academically, where you were in sports, where you are socially? Things like that can create the illusion of disappointments within us as parents. And we have to identify, am I disappointed for a good reason? Am I disappointed for a okay reason, a justified reason? And I feel like before we tell our kids that we're disappointed in something that they did, we have to ask ourselves that, because telling your child that you're disappointed in them about something is one thing, but telling your child that they're a disappointment, meaning that they're a state of being, meaning that's just what they are. Forget your new name. This is what you are. And that can fall into a mindset for a child where they feel like they'll never be able to measure up for you. They'll never be good enough. What's the point in trying? And it just snowballs into this big problem where they don't put forth any effort in their looks, their achievements. They don't put any effort in their work. They don't put any effort in social events. They don't put any effort in life. And it's because you broke your child's heart by telling them that they're nothing but a disappointment. Do not do that, okay? Do not do that. Ask yourself as a parent, are your expectations too low? Because sometimes your expectations can be so low that your child feels like you're belittling them. Your child can feel like you think that they're stupid, or you think like they can't do anything, so they try to go forward in everything without asking you about it. They try to do everything themselves, and they might mess up. My mom thinks I'm too stupid, or I can't drive, or I can't do this. I'm gonna show her I'm going to do this, and next thing you know, they crash a car. And you have to pay out $40,000 in damages because they just felt like they needed to show you up. So there has to be some form of balance. You also have to ask yourself this as a parent. Are the attitudes that you have in life, or the ways that you handle conflict, rubbing off on your kid in a bad way? Meaning, if you cuss out people, you yell at people, you break things, you're very short with people. You don't want to hear another person's perspective. And then they do that to someone at school, or they do that with legal authority, or police officers, or a judge, or the elderly, and you say, oh, you're just disrespectful, you're a disappointment, I don't even know what to do with you, blah, blah, blah. They're only doing what they see. They're only doing what they hear. So just as much as you would like your child to be this great citizen and this human being, you have to be that great citizen and human being in front of your child. You have to show your child how to be a great person by you being a great person, especially if you're there every day and every night. Okay? Telling a kid that they are a disappointment is my gosh, it's hard. Even saying that is hard. I can imagine my mom telling me I'm a disappointment, or my dad telling me I'm a disappointment. Telling your kid, I'm disappointed in you because I showed you that you shouldn't do this. I told you my experience. Even though, your brother messed up and did this, you went right behind him and did this. So I'm disappointed in you for that. That's different. Saying that you're disappointed is already past tense, meaning your child has a chance to change it tomorrow. Your child has a chance to change it next week, next month, or next year. But telling your child that they're a disappointment, that's infinite, okay? And you're going to have to correct that ASAP. And if you have ever told your child that in real life, I need you to go to them, find them, and apologize and tell them you said that out of misunderstanding and just being angry. Okay? Telling your child that they did something specific is on point. Explaining to your child what they did wrong and when something went wrong is very important, because kids need to get the understanding of why you're upset with them, of why you're not happy, of why, you're just like, ugh, when it comes to them, or why you just feel like when they call your name or you get called by school is something bad, because you've just been giving me reasons to expect bad expectations. So I know what it's like to not get excited about somebody that I'm in a relationship with because they keep disappointing you. I know what that's like, but I don't know what that's like to have a child disappoint me yet. I have 2 girls, so I know it's coming, but I will never tell them that all that they are is just a disappointment. Okay, so we have to be better as parents to understand how to deal with that. I feel like, y'all know I feel like this, that we all need a break from our kids and our kids need a break from us. So let's say that you're married, both of you live in the same household. Maybe one parent can be more hands-on with that child that's been just constantly messing up. If you're co-parenting, get the other parent on board, okay? Sit that parent down. Have conversations about your child when your child is not around to hear them, okay? Have powwows, have a plan, and give your children boundaries. Give your children boundaries and realistic punishments. Meaning, if you have nice things in your house and your child has access, cut off the access. If your child has iPads, a computer, an iPhone, get them a Metro. Hello. Welcome to Nokia, where all you get is a great background in text and a phone call. Okay? Your kids today are usually messing up because they're given too much. I didn't get a cell phone until I was 16 and I could pay that $50 bill. Okay? Kids today have cell phones at 6. They have iPhones at age 6. And there are grown people with car notes, insurance, full-time jobs, an apartment or a house that have to feed themselves, and they cannot afford to pay a bill that's more than $50. It's just not in their budget. Okay? So think about that the next time you look in your house and you see all of the nice things that your kids have. Like, I would never dream of having an iPad at age 6 or having an iPad at age 3. And both of my kids have iPads. Okay? They're living a luxurious lifestyle. So when it comes to disappointments, my children will never be able to disappoint me about anything that they're doing that they're not supposed to do and have nice things. All right? I don't care if I gave you this car. You did something incorrectly and you disappointed me with that thing that you did, so you're not using the car. When you need to come and go, I'll pick you up and drop you off. When you need to come and go, your dad will do it, or your sibling will do it, or you can take the bus or the train. You're really going to get the understanding that you have privileges out here. And when you don't do what you're supposed to do, things get taken. You lose those privileges. No, you may not go out to see your friends. No, you may not go to this party. That student trip is canceled. Like, you need to get on the level with your kids so they can know that I'm not rewarding you for rude behavior with rewards that other kids are not getting. All right? So when it comes to disappointment, it's going to come. I understand it. I think it's about honesty, and I think it's about explaining to your children what they need to improve because they're a child, okay? My kid is 7 years old, and she'll say, oh, I can't wait to grow up and have my own things. Listen, I wish I can trade and be 7 years old, and she can be an adult right now, because I am not enjoying my 30s. I am not enjoying adulting because it comes with a lot of responsibilities where you really have to look at the simple things in life to find some joy. Whereas for her, she gets all the joy all day except for sitting at a computer for a few hours to do school. And her homework is not even that hard. For math, she gets one problem to do for math homework. One problem. I had a whole page of a textbook to do for homework. And though that paper had snot on it, it had raindrops from my eyelids from it. It had food on it because I was doing my homework from 2 p.m. from when I came home till 8:30. And I had to eat and still do my homework. And I had to drink and still do my homework. I couldn't watch TV until my homework was done. I was so mentally exhausted from doing so much homework at her age that I'm not understanding why she feels like she's going to struggle to do one math problem, or she's going to struggle to read a 4-minute book. Listen, these kids have it way easier than us. But at the same time, if these kids are out here disappointing us with bad behavior or poor effort or poor choices, we have to get down on their level. But do not tell your child that all that they are is a disappointment, or all that they ever be is a disappointment, because they're not measuring up to your illusion of expectations. Your kids are not you. Your kids are not their fathers. Your kids are not their mothers. They're individual, small human beings with your genetics, all right, mixed in with their dad's genetics. And you're going to have to figure out a way to see that child for who they are. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. You guys enjoy your holiday week and be great. Peace. Bye.
Bye.